Okay, so the next episode I thought was going to be continuation of movie night, but it was not. It was Maya showing up to tell them that four couples would be who were the bottom four couples, and that two couples would be eliminated. And the four bottom couples were Imani and Connor, um, Curtis, and I can never remember her name, but Curtis and the girl that's with Curtis, um, Scott and Cher, Sean and Lucinda. So Connor and Imani went home, and Curtis and that girl went home. So after all that happened, Scott and Leanne sat down for a talk, and it didn't go well. She still was telling him he didn't take her feelings into consideration. Um, they hadn't, and he said he wanted to talk to her because they hadn't talked. And she said, "Why was that?" And then the whole argument started. The same argument. Lucinda pulled Sammy for a chat, and the first thing she said when she sat down was, "I don't know what your problem is with me." Lucinda said that to Sammy, which that's starting off on a bad foot. But it didn't end up in an argument, but they still didn't see eye to eye. And Sammy didn't get triggered by by Lucinda being clueless. So Scott realizes that he really wants to be with Leanne. He had talked with Carrington earlier and pretty much came to that conclusion. So he sits down. This is the next day, and he sits down to talk to Leanne, and she had already had her mind up, made up that she was done. And she said that she just doesn't feel like someone who would allow her to feel that way or make her feel that way is someone that's for her. And she said he wasn't empathetic. He said he is, he just doesn't know how to show it. She said she was done. And she had that, if you've ever had that mindset when you're finally finished with a relationship, that's what she looked like. She was just done. And he said, "So you're ending it?" And she said, "Yeah." And then she asked him if there was anything else, and didn't say anything. He didn't fight for it or anything. So she got up and left. And then she was talking to one of the girls, I believe, I can't remember who she was talking to, but it was Lucinda. And Lucinda asked her if she was okay, and she said, "Yeah, she's fine." She felt relieved. She did say that she was behaving in a way that she didn't like also when she was talking to Scott. And I'm thinking that was that whole Yemen situation. She was just saying she didn't like how she was behaving. So, and I get that feeling too. So she was done. This was Scott after the conversation. So it's in the evening, and Scott pulls Cher, and he tells her basically that he's going to pursue, or he wants to be with Leanne. And she understands, and she's like, "Well, yeah, I can tell you were holding back." And so they ended that. But when she was telling, well, we'll get to that. So he pulled Leanne up to the terrace to tell her that she's who he wants to be with. And she is truly done, because she said that still doesn't change what I said this morning. I was like, wow, she was done. Um, I don't know. I guess she feels she doesn't like the way that he made her feel. Um, but he was exploring like you're supposed to do. But when he came back to her, she wasn't having it. And I think it was because she said he hadn't checked in on her or talked to her. So, and he said a couple of things that for a woman to hear, sometimes you just, that can't leave your mind. Like when they were doing the Snog Mary Pie, and he chose to marry Cher, and he was saying how beautiful she was, and he wasn't getting to know her for no reason. And another thing, when he was talking to, I think he was talking to Carrington, he was like, Cher is the whole package. She's beautiful, blah 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 blah. But I want to be with Leanne, and I was like, that was weird to say. I was with Helena on this one. She was talking to Carrington, and she was basically telling him she feels like he's putting on a show when they're together, or when they're out around everybody, but when they're together, they don't really talk, or it's not really affectionate or whatever. And I think after seeing how he was going after Belle, how he liked her, Helena realized that he's not that way with her, so she felt like she was a rebound, and she was. He just wanted. I feel like he just wanted to get in the villa, and that was basically what she told him, and he did not like that. He was pissed, but she stood her ground, and I believe it. He's performative. Okay, so here when Leanne was talking to Cher, and she was saying how she was done with Scott, and she was going to tell her she can have him. And she said, Cher said, oh, Shar said, it's Cher. Why do I keep calling Shar? But anyway, she said, we broke it off. And so Leanne said, oh, or she said, Leanne thought she broke it off. She said, so you broke it off? And Cher goes, no, we both decided. But I watched it back, and Scott he broke it off with her. But she's just spun it in a way where they both came to that conclusion. Now she may have been thinking that, but what I got out of it was when Scott started talking about Leanne, she caught on to where he was going, and then she was like, "Yeah, you've been holding back, and we can kind of end this." But she tried to make it like it was mutual. But I don't. I think if Scott had said he wanted to keep pursuing her, she would have. Tommy's kind of feeling alone, and he was talking to Jack about it, and he got emotional because he said he feels like he's invisible because everyone's kind of everyone has someone. I don't know what this is. I didn't see this coming. And it's funny because when Belle was talking about Scott, Wit said don't do that because you're basically pulling the Lucinda and you hated that. And Belle was like, well, that was different. I don't know. This is I don't know. Leanne says she's done with Scott, so I guess, but Love Island is messy. And then later on, when they were going to bed, Belle was telling Jack because they're sharing a bed about Scott too. So something's coming up. I don't know what this is going to be, but the previews did show that there will be. Well, it'll be the heart rate challenge, but there will be some bombshells. They need some bombshells. It's been a minute, so we'll see what happens.